Yeah, everybody, welcome. I'm your host, One More Sanchez. And here shortly we'll have the stand-up comedian Pudge out of Queens, New York.
That 3G wasn't working?
I know, it's not, you're on Texas Coast time. I'm on New York Eastern Standard Time. Just that little hesitation. Jeff, how are you, man?
Doing good. We were getting gas over there, and I was like, damn, it's not enough, right?
It's up like 450, 460 here. What is it over there?
Almost 4. 4. It's around 4 now.
We're gonna hit 5. You're gonna hit 4. That's how it works. And California's on 6.
Hey, well, again, man, thank you for being on the show. This is your second time here with me, and I just wanted to catch up and see how you've been. I know you're doing a lot of things, so just wanted to chop it up.
Yeah, man, just hustling, working hard. It's been a crazy new year. Like right now we're in March, and so far so good. Things are on the upswing because February sucked. Okay. February 1st, my dog died. February 2nd, I got COVID. A couple of days later, my son got COVID. We were supposed to go to Vegas, like a father and son, and I had some shows out there. So that got canceled. And then I got bronchitis behind the COVID. So I was like 20 days at home. So I didn't do shit for 20 days, but just killed my February. So couldn't wait to get rid of February. March is here. Yay.
Did you ever get to reschedule those shows in Vegas?
Well, it's my man who just opened up a brand new place. He's out of New York. Jeff Fernandez. Definitely check him out. Hard Knock Laughs. Hard Knock Laughs. He started it in New York, 15 years ago. And we met at the Laugh Lounge, and he did Hard Knock Laughs like at every comedy club in New York. And now he's bringing it to Vegas. He's got a room. He's got the Hard Knock Laughs production, and I'm good. He's my boy. So he's like, Pudge, yo, fucking sucks. Don't worry about it. Just whenever you get here, I got your spot. So it wasn't like a booking or something. He's like, bro, whenever you're here, you get on. That's it. So I got very lucky with that.
And I see that now you're hosting shows. How those gigs be going?
Yeah. It's a privilege and an honor to be hosting so many shows. But let me tell you, this is why if you talk to a lot of comedians, I know, especially here in New York, most comics don't want to host. You ask comedians, they're like, no, I don't want to. I just want to be a comic. I just want to be a comic. I just want to perform on stage. I just want to do my thing. I don't want to host. I don't want to host. You ask, go to open mic and you ask 100 comics. And I'm like, no, I don't want to host. I don't want to. But it's a chore. It's a chore. It's another position on the playing field. It's heavy duty. And there's like heavy responsibility that goes along with that. And then the whole basis of being a host is being selfless. Selfless. The show comes before you. The show comes first. The other comedians come before you. You're the last one. You're just there. You open it up. You set up the crowd. You do crowd work. You got to bring that. It's a room full of strangers, and you got to bring them all together. You have to bring them all together. Do a little crowd work, make them feel all warm and fuzzy, and then maybe do some material. That way you're getting them brain trained to hear jokes, bits, and then let them know about the energy. You're also their teacher. You're letting them know this is what you have to do, and then you start bringing up the comics. And then in between the comics, you got to gauge. Sometimes you have to reset it. Sometimes it's a perfect energy. I could just go on stage and be like, hey, boom, hey, next comedian coming to the stage, and just keep it going. But sometimes if a comedian hits too high, I got to pause it and kind of reset it. Otherwise, I'm setting up them, because if it's too high, the next comic is how does he catch that fire? So I have to reset the crowd, kind of take a little moment, pause, resettle the energy, and then bring up the next comic. It's up to me to set him up properly. And if it fails, it's the other way around.
Would you say that comes with the many years that you've been in the industry? Does it naturally?
Well, I was told years ago that hosting is a good way to get a lot of reps and to get into the clubs. Because like I said, it's a heavy chore. A lot of people don't want to do it. A lot of comics aren't even good at it. They're very fucking half-assed. So if you're a good host, you will get a lot of work. And also, I was intrigued by hosting. I think it looks cool. I think it's something cool. It reminds me of the circus. When you go in there and you got the main guy, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all age, he's the MC of this whole fucking thing. He's calling the shots. So it's like you're the centerpiece for everything. So it is a privilege. It is, and I really take it seriously. So I made that decision a long time ago to host. And it's also flexes different muscles. I say when you're writing material and you're doing your stage, craft and your bits, that's kind of upper body, how much you can press. But when you do crowd work, which comes with hosting, it's lower, it's your legs. Because sometimes you got to work, you got to be quick, you got to be fast, you got to be like sharp. So I started hosting 12 years ago with open mics. Open mics were, just getting warmed up. And then when I started producing my own shows, I hosted my own shows because I wanted that extra muscle. And obviously I get better at it, and it becomes the norm, and you get good. You get good.
How would you say everything's been as far as a year ago? We were talking about it was hard to get in places, and you actually came to Texas because of COVID and the crowd was. How's it out there now? Like, does it feel natural again, or is there still separation or crowd wise?
No. I mean, after I left Texas last year, came here, everything was actually Manhattan was nuts, especially the Village, Greenwich Village. It was packed. Everything was packed. And so, yeah, I mean, everything was coming back. There was stage time for everybody. And it was a little bit of a high. Then they got into the, you had to get the vaccination card thing in the fall. That was a little twist, but it's been pretty steady. The tourism is still pretty big. We may not have overseas tourists as much, but local US, yeah, they're traveling. So that's been pretty good. So the clubs have been open, the stage time is there. It's just a matter of finding it, getting into a club.
Now, I know last time one of the questions I had asked was, do you feel like you had to cause because everybody was so sensitive? And you said, and I quote, "Fuck that shit." Is it still the same? You still have that same energy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, there's some material that I've done that's been dicey in some cases, but I've just embraced it even more. I learned how to sell it. If anything, I learned how to set it up better and maybe a little cushion up front, be pre-woke, maybe over a decade ago. You can come through the front door with some material, and people know it's a joke, it's a riff, or they get it. It's a comedy show. But today, everybody's like triggered and shit. They hear that one, if they, thing, and it's triggered, and they cut you off. They don't hear the rest of the bit, and then at the end, and I've gotten some huffs and puffs and Karens and, in the crowd. And I'm like, and so sometimes I let it slide, or sometimes I double down. I'll double down. So I'll be like, oh, you didn't like that race bit? Here comes the oh, you didn't like that gay bit? Here comes the race bit. Or here comes, it's, you want abortion. Oh, you want abortion. All right, here it comes. So as long as I'm having fun, that's the key. But you have to gauge the crowd, but for the most part, I gotta be me. It's organic. It's what I see. It's what I feel. It's never comes off as negative.
Yeah.
I'm not, regardless of what the topic is or whatever, I'm not shitting anybody. Actually, in some cases it's positive, and in some cases it's just fact. It just happens to fall under these, sensitive umbrellas.
The new material that you got working on, is it about current events? Is it about your life, what you're going through right now? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Some of it is I wouldn't say current. It's just what I see, what I feel.
Okay.
Some of the sensitive stuff is, what I see, what I feel. And some of the newer stuff, I'm trying to get more personal. There's a portion of my life that I need to open up, and I have a chunk of my life, my childhood. So that does very well, and I got that under my belt. I want to expand a little bit more, but it's there. I guess the most current shit, I guess I'm still sensitive. I guess it's still there. It's a little hard to talk about. Maybe that's why the childhood shit was easy, but yeah, working, marital stuff, family stuff. There's a few.
Is this your own version of therapy? Whenever you let that out and you feed off the crowd when you look at that?
Absolutely. It's beautiful. It's a blessing. It's a gift, because not only is therapy for me, but the best part is after the show, or I meet somebody and they'd be like, me too. Oh my God. Or I'd be in the middle of a bit and somebody'd be like, yeah, like, oh my God. Sometimes you get it right there live and people get excited because I see them nodding their heads. I'll go down in that, and I connected. So
Okay.
that's therapeutic for me and therapeutic for them. Because sometimes, regardless of what we're going through and how bad it is, sometimes we feel lonely and like, God,
Okay.
why me? But it's not
Now,
me. It's a lot of us.
I like something that didn't have time to tell you last time that I like is your comedy is not, I'll say, the typical Latino. You don't cater to just our culture. A lot of your jokes, you throw in your New York accent, you involve different race. And I like that about you because everyone keeps it like a circle. Like you have, example, George Lopez, Carlos Mencia, like the same Spanish jokes, right? We're all the same. But with you, would you say because you were in the military, you had a bigger view, or you just knew that was the route you wanted to take as far as open it for more audience to like your comedy instead of keep it in that circle?
It's funny you said that about, doing too much Latino. I once did an audition like a decade ago, and it was
Mhm.
only 5 minutes. So naturally, I'm going to talk about myself. So there was about a minute or two of being Latino. And then after the audition, the guy was like, you can't do the Latino stuff, kid. You can't do the
Yeah.
Latino stuff. It's already done. And I left there like, but if that's who you are, how do you, so what, it's part of what my last name's fucking Fernandez. Hello.
Yeah.
Like, I got to address it. So yeah, you do have to address it, but it's not 100%. I was born here. I was raised here. I think I have maybe 3 minutes, 2 minutes of actual Latino stuff.
Uh-huh.
And then everything is just personal. But there is that little surrounding. Like if I talk, when I go into my growing up and I talk about my mother, yeah, she has an accent. So naturally, that's the little lining. I think
Yeah.
there'll always be a lining, but it's not, no, it's the personal experience, fatherhood, husband, military, and it's there already, Fernandez. But I don't know, how can you avoid it? But then
Yeah.
I guess maybe because of my upbringing, I'm not overly Latino, and I feel I've always had this shame
Uh-huh.
because it's like I don't know how to dance it. I don't know how to dance it. I didn't like the music at first. I didn't play soccer, but I knew how to eat. That's the only thing I did right, and that's because I came up. My mother came here by herself, so it was only her. And she was so busy trying to be Americanized, she never taught me any Latino values or anything. So maybe that's part of it. Maybe that's why, like a George Lopez or some other Latino comics are more Latin based to their heritage,
Based.
because
Mhm.
I didn't have the Latino family. I didn't have the
Mm.
Latino upbringing for the most part, So maybe that's part of it. But I like where I'm at, Yeah, I don't believe in so heavy. I think we have a lot in common. Most people just talking about ourselves.
Whenever we come up creative with your jokes, is it do you write them down first, or do you just have it memorized and just go off the cuff?
No,
Especially being a
no
host.
cuff, no cuff,
No cuff.
no cuff. Very seldom. Everything is written down somewhere. The premise or the idea or a tag or something, and then somewhere along the line, I'll write it out, and it's formula where here's the premise, here's the setup, and here's the punch, and then I'll go on stage and play with it. But I got to have something written first, or have the majority of it done already before I go on stage. Very seldom do I write on stage. That's some people write, writing on, that's off. Yeah, I'm going to talk about this, and then I just talk about it. Very seldom. I got to be like I don't know. I got to feel pretty good that day. Some comics are good at it. So they'll be like, I'm going to talk about, dogs, and just boom, and just see what happens. I try that. I suck. I'm not ready for that. Maybe later on, but
One thing I wanted to know, whenever you're on stage, like you mentioned, and you have, your skin, you have it tied down by minutes. How do you adjust as far as when you see like you're losing the crowd, or, you want to keep doing the spill because everybody's liking it? Do you do that, or you just stick to your minutes,
oh,
to your script?
excellent question. And this is, I learned from failure, a lot of failure, and from
Okay.
watching seasoned and veterans in the game. In order to be a good comic, and I don't see comics, well, at least in New York, they spend more time in the green room gabbing and chatting than they should be out there watching the veterans, because that's how you fucking learn.
Yeah.
And there was this one guy, Angelo Lozada, rest in peace. He's a Puerto Rican from the Bronx, New York icon. He passed away, unfortunately, from stomach cancer a while back. But for example, I learned from him. I was a little open micer doing a 5-minute spot and I bombed. And then another comic went on and something happened where the show kind of went down. The host didn't set it like I was talking about. And then he went on stage, he started doing his thing, and he felt the pushback or the silence or so. Something wasn't right. And he called a timeout. You could literally he started talking to the crowd. Hey, how you guys doing? What's going on? Is this something? Is it me? Is it? And he started talking to the crowd and feeling them out, just like a little timeout. Hey, how are you? And before you know it, he got him back and he started talking and he started joking, he started riffing. And then all of us, he just finished with a bang. So that's the thing. Sometimes you have to have that sensory, that when to double down, when to keep going, when to, pull back. Hey, how you guys doing? Did I miss something? You guys all right? Was this too? Sometimes I'll say, is this too much? Is this too? Raise your hand if you're woke. Raise your hand if you're woke. I'll play with them.
Okay.
Sometimes they'll be like, go ahead, or, but I'll let them know that I'm in the room. And, and sometimes, it's like a relationship. We work it out. So yeah, every crowd is different and it gets dicey, but as long as I'm having fun, I have to have fun. I have to have fun.
And when you're out traveling on the road, for example, the jokes that you make in New York, and then you come down to Texas, that's a different crowd, different. Do you still use the same jokes, or do you kind of have to adjust it, make it a little bit more Southern? Like, do you work with it a little bit at times?
Great question. I've been told, and it's taught, especially coming out of New York, like you can't do New York jokes out west. You can't do New York, and that goes for anywhere. Like if you're from Texas and you have Texas jokes, don't go to Florida with your Texas jokes per se. So that goes for wherever you're from. Don't take your LA jokes to Louisiana per se. But if that's who you are, I think it's you gotta cut out. Nobody know. I can't go to Iowa and talk about my Metro card. They don't Metro one. I'll lose them on Metro. What? We don't have, but if you can paint the picture, maybe change a few words or similes, maybe if you can compare it to something that they have so they can understand. It's all about painting the picture and making it clear for them. In some cases, yeah, you can talk about New York. And also, especially New York, who hasn't seen like New York shows, TV shows, movies? If I talk about the train, you've seen a New York train in the movies with the graffiti and all that shit. The old, so there is some stuff, yes, there is, it's a balance now. You got to figure out what can you say, can you not say. So it's tough. And the only way to find out is try it and see what happens. And sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.
Do you have any plans on going on the road here shortly?
Yes. So this year is going to be interesting. There's
what happened?
There's an eviction coming soon. Yeah, I'm in the middle of an eviction and a couple of other things that I can't discuss live right now. But there's going to be some major changes. So I'm waiting for everything to happen. And then, yes, Florida, Texas, and Vegas. So yeah, I plan on getting in my car and doing some heavy traveling. I want to go back to Texas, maybe spend another month there, have a good time, and then do what I did in Texas last year in Florida, and also visit my guy in Vegas so I can get those spots. So yeah, definitely. And before then, I'm still doing, like, I'm in Kentucky in April, so I still hit the road. I think I'm in Pennsylvania this weekend. I got a call. I might be out there, and then next month I'm supposed to be in Kentucky at the Comedy Caravan. And then, yeah, and just little spots here and there, but major, yeah, it's coming. Florida, Texas, Vegas.
Is it rough still on the road trying to get those gigs, or do you just go to the open mics a lot? Come down to Texas?
Some things are already booked, like Kentucky. I'm featuring for my boy Johnny Watson. He's going to be there, I think, the weekend of the 9th, and I'm featuring for him. So some of it is booked. I was headlining in Delaware. That's already booked. Some things is already pre-booked. But for Texas, I'm going to reach out to everybody I met the first time to see if I can schedule more stuff. Because last time I was just there, just free balling it, and met a lot of great people. And now I made some connections and also follow people online and maybe reach out to some clubs, maybe go further south, Laredo. I heard has some comedy down there. So yeah. Now I got the gist of it. And then Florida, I'll be out there for the first time and maybe, do the whole peninsula. And we have a lot of Florida comics up here, so I'm hoping to reach out to them. Maybe they can guide me a little bit in Florida, So it's a little half and half. It just comes as it comes. So sometimes you just got to make it yourself. I got to share this cool story, and this is for comics, man. Sometimes, you got those days where you feel like shit, and it's just dark, and you don't want to go. You don't want to go. And because there was this, it was a Wednesday night. I didn't have anything but a midnight show hosting. So I'm like 10 o'clock I'm in my PJs, 10 o'clock, all comfortable. I'm comfortable. It's winter. I don't want to go outside. Not the fucking host. It's heavy. So I drag my ass and I get to the village. I park my car. I'm literally praying that they cancel. I'm like, I was just so negative. It was just a bad day. It was a bad, I'm praying that it can't. So I get to the place, shout out to the Grizzly Pear in the village, Grizzly Pear Comedy Club. So I get to the place and I see a lot of the comics. They're outside. I feel a buzz. There's this energy. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And I roll up and they're like, yo, Mark Anthony is inside.
Oh shit.
Mark Anthony, the salsa singer, the actor, he's an icon. I mean, forget about it. In the Latino community and with the million Puerto Ricans that we have in New York, yes, and he's huge. I love him. I love his movies. I grew up listening to him. And before, one thing you know, he was there with a friend of his doing comedy. And next he's in the room. And I was hosting, so I got to perform for Mark Anthony. It was a very cool experience. So what started out to be like a shitty night just got turned upside down. And he was very cool. He was sweet. He hung out. He watched the whole show. And he even gave me marital advice. I actually got to speak to him. He gave me marital advice.
Was it before Jared? This was before the divorce? The Jared divorce?
He couldn't have been more sweeter. I've kind of met him before briefly, and I've heard he's a New Yorker. So there's stories everywhere. He's a nice down to earth, solid man's man. He's cool people. And we spoke and we were talking about marriage and he gave me some marriage advice. I was like, holy shit, very nice guy. But you never know. Just you gotta put it out there. And a good day, bad day, ugly day, you gotta go to work. Because you never know.
You got all your social media out there. Can you let the fans know? Let the people know where can we find you?
Instagram, Pudge Fernandez. Facebook, Pudge Fernandez. Twitter, Pudge Fernandez. Website, pudgefernandez.com. Keep it simple. I gotta be found. So it's just everything's Pudge Fernandez.
Is there any shout outs, any last things you want to let the crowd know? Everybody?
No, thank you for watching. Keep supporting you. One more Sanchez. Is it one more? Huh?
No, not 1-on-1. That's a basketball. One more Sanchez.
One more. I got it right. Yeah, one more.
One more
Sanchez. And no, thank you for watching. Keep supporting. I'll be out in Texas hopefully later this year. Come say hello and keep supporting live comedy. Keep supporting live comedy because I tell everybody live comedy is better than the movie because you don't know what's going to happen.
It's always on the fly. And let me know when you're down here in Austin again. I know last time this was before the Kill Tony. That's how I found you. But when you're down here, let me know.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm going to try to get on again. That was fun.
All right. I remember that.
Yeah.
Y'all go check out that video if you haven't seen it. It's a good one.
It's as soon as you go to my website, pudgefernandez.com, my video's there. It's already been edited. So it's right there. It was wild. Motherfucker took me I thought, I was like flexing. I was ready to flex, and that motherfucker took me somewhere.
He called you up.
Yeah, he called me out of some shit, and it got bananas. So yeah, definitely check it out. The Kill Tony, I think it was episode 505. It's on my pudgefernandez.com website.
Hey, sir, thank you for coming on again. I'll definitely gonna have you on. I always like to have check up on you, see how things are doing.
Thank you, Jess. Anytime. Appreciate it.
All right, take care.
Be good.
You too.